Beloved, have you forgotten the word that was spoken before the foundations of the world? The word that declared, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." What does it mean to truly lack nothing? Have you ever asked yourself why some live in palaces of plenty while others dwell in shadows of fear? The difference is not fate, nor luck, nor chance, it is the spoken word. For the tongue is a rudder, and with it we steer the ship of our destiny. Tell me, dear soul, what words have you been speaking over your life? Words of poverty, or words of plenty, words of fear, or words of faith? For the verse is not forgotten, though men forget. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. This is the law eternal, the secret buried in plain sight, the key to unlimited wealth and divine supply. And tonight, I will not whisper it. I will trumpet it to the heavens, that you may awaken, rise, and speak your world into being. The universe listens, dear one. It listens not to your complaints, not to your groans, not to your desperate clutching. It listens to the decree of your word. For your word is the seed, and life itself is the soil. What you plant must return, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. You cannot plant thorns and expect roses. You cannot plant doubt and expect miracles. You cannot plant fear and expect faith. For God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And yet, man forgets. He forgets his divine inheritance. He forgets the law of his own tongue. He forgets that the very breath within him is God's own breath. And in his forgetting, he curses his harvest. He binds his increase. He shackles his supply. But when man remembers, when woman awakens, when the soul once more claims its divine authority, then rivers of living waters burst forth. Then supply comes from the east and the west, from the north and the south. Then unexpected channels open, unseen doors swing wide, invisible hands prepare the way, for the Lord is truly your shepherd, and you shall not want. The forgotten verse, dear one, is not forgotten by heaven, it is only forgotten by the lips of men who have ceased to speak it with faith. For the scripture declares, "Let the weak say, I am strong," not think it, not wish it, not hope it, say it. For the saying is the creating, the word is the wand, and with it you write upon the ether, and what you write shall appear in the visible. Do you see why the Christ said, "By thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned"? Because your word sets the law in motion. Your word is the command to substance. Your word is the divine order, the celestial decree. Consider the inventors, the pioneers, the captains of industry. Thomas Edison, who dared to declare that light would flood the night. Men laughed, yet his word became light bulbs that shine in every city. Andrew Carnegie, who held the vision of steel empires, who dared to say, "All riches are the product of definite ideas." Walt Disney, who spoke of castles and kingdoms when all he had was paper and ink. Each one spoke the unseen into the seen. Each one used the law of the word, whether consciously or unconsciously. For the law is no respecter of persons. The law responds to the decree, the command, the vibration of faith spoken with authority. And yet, how many of you speak curses daily over your own harvest? How many say, "I can't afford it, money doesn't come easily, life is hard, nothing ever works for me"? And so your words return unto you void of increase, for they have accomplished the very thing you sent them to do: poverty, struggle, lack, despair. Beloved, cease your idle speaking. Stop sowing weeds in your garden. Begin today to sow words of wealth, words all. Plenty, words of faith, words of praise. For praise waters the seed, and gratitude hastens the harvest. And yet, how many of you speak curses daily over your own harvest? How many say, "I can't afford it, money doesn't come easily, life is hard, nothing ever works for me"? And so, your words return unto you void of increase, for they have accomplished the very thing you sent them to do: poverty, struggle, lack, despair. Beloved, cease your idle speaking. Stop sowing weeds in your garden. Begin today to sow words of wealth, words of plenty, words of faith, words of praise. For praise waters the seed, and gratitude hastens the harvest. Hear the forgotten verse again. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Say it with power. Say it until your bones believe it. Say it until your cells vibrate with it. Say it until the walls of limitation tremble and fall. For every time you declare it, you align yourself with the law of divine supply. You tune your instrument to the frequency of abundance. You call the sheep of wealth, health, joy, and love into your pasture. And they come, for the Lord is their shepherd, and you are his child, heir to every promise. Why do you think the Master said, "It is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom"? Not to sell it to you, not to hide it from you, not to deny it to you, but to give it to you. The treasure house of infinity is already yours, but you must claim it with your word, for a gift unclaimed remains unopened, a banquet unspoken of leaves the table empty. But when you speak the word, you claim the gift, you sit at the table, you eat and are filled. Even the mystics, even the sages, even the poets knew this. Orison Swett Marden declared, "Our destiny changes with our thought. We shall become what we wish to become, do what we wish to do, when our habitual thought corresponds with our desire. But thought alone is the seed in the hand. The spoken word plants it in the soil. The tongue gives birth to the invisible." Ernest Holmes, the great metaphysician, taught, "We are dealing with the law of cause and effect, which is absolute. The word spoken into this law becomes cause, and the effect is inevitable." Beloved, there are no idle words. Every syllable you utter is a creative decree. You are either aligning with heaven or binding yourself to hell. The forgotten verse calls you back to remembrance. Speak wealth, and wealth appears. Speak lack, and lack abounds. Speak fear, and fear surrounds you. Speak faith, and mountains move. The word is the wand, the tongue is the wand. Do not leave your magic lying in the dust. Do not allow the serpent of doubt to coil around your throat. Speak, declare, decree. Some will say, "But I have spoken, and nothing happened." And I tell you, you spoke without faith. You spoke with doubt in your heart, and the law gave you the harvest of your doubt. The word must be spoken with conviction, with power, with divine authority. When the prophet Elijah declared the heavens shut, they shut. When he declared the rain return, the clouds broke open. Why? Because he spoke as one aligned with the source. He spoke not as a beggar, but as a son. Beloved soul, this is your inheritance. You are not a beggar at heaven's gate. You are a child of the King. You are heir to the estate of infinite supply. You are joint heir with Christ. But you must take possession through your word. For the law of the word is the law of wealth. Do not wait for the world to approve. Do not wait for the bank account to rise before you declare it. Speak first. Speak boldly. Speak as though already possessing. For faith calls those things which be not as though they were, and they become. This is why Abraham was called the father of faith. He spoke as though the child already lived, and Isaac was born. Speak as though the money is already in hand, the opportunity already opened, the blessing already released, and the law must obey, for the word is law. And here, dear one, is the divine paradox. When you cease resisting, when you cease forcing, when you release your clutch, and instead align with the flow, supply rushes to you. The law of non-resistance works with the word. Say, "I now let every blessing that belongs to me flow to me by divine right, in perfect ways." And watch how doors swing open that no man can shut. Do not try to outline the how. Do not bind the law with your limited imagination. Speak only the end result, and leave the details to God. For substance is infinite, and channels are countless. When you declare, "I now draw to myself my divine supply," the law begins to move through unexpected ways, ideas, opportunities, helpers, miracles. But if you say, "It must come only this way," you choke the flow, you dam the river, you strangle the blessing. Speak and release. Declare and let go. For faith without non-resistance becomes struggle, but faith with release becomes miracle. The forgotten verse is waiting for you to remember. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Say it now, aloud. Say it with boldness. Say it with fire. Let it echo in your home. Let it thunder in your heart. Let it carve itself into your soul. For this is the key to unlimited wealth. The word opens the treasure house. The word calls forth the gold, the silver, the opportunities, the helpers, the ideas. The word sets the law in motion, and the law cannot fail. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but the word shall not pass away. And as you speak, beloved, align with gratitude. Praise is the voice of faith. Give thanks before the harvest, and the harvest hastens. Say, "I give thanks for my divine supply, which comes to me in perfect ways." For thanksgiving is the magnet, and gratitude is the golden oil that keeps the engine of supply moving without friction. Do not despise the day of small beginnings. If your increase appears as a trickle, bless it, and it will multiply. If you find a single coin on the street, praise God, and more will come. For he that is faithful in little shall be made ruler over much. The law responds to your recognition, to your joy, to your praise. And now, beloved, I ask you again, what words are you speaking? For your future is hidden in your speech. The wealth you long for is hidden in your decree. The forgotten verse is not forgotten by heaven, it is waiting upon your lips. Speak it, and your world will change. Beloved soul, when you spoke the word, the heavens moved, but the law requires that the word be carried by the wings of faith. Without faith, the word falls to the ground as a bird with broken wings, for faith is the invisible substance, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is the bridge between your decree and its manifestation. Faith is the assurance that the promise is already yours, though the bank account be empty, though the cupboards appear bare, though the world scoffs and mocks. For the just shall live by faith. And faith does not ask, how? Faith only declares, it is so. What is faith, beloved? Faith is the courage to speak light in the midst of darkness. Faith is the boldness to declare wealth while pockets are empty. Faith is the audacity to call yourself healed while symptoms rage. Faith is not blind, it is sight of a higher order. It is the eye that sees beyond appearances, the ear that hears beyond reports, the heart that knows beyond circumstances. Faith looks into the unseen and declares it already done. The prophets walked by this law. Noah built the ark when no cloud was in the sky. Abraham journeyed to a land he knew not, simply because the word had spoken. Moses stretched forth his rod against the Red Sea, and the waters obeyed. Joshua shouted before the walls of Jericho fell, and the walls crumbled at the sound. Each one moved not by sight but by faith in the word. And you, beloved soul, are called to walk the same path, for faith and fear are twins, both unseen, both believed, both creative. Fear calls forth the very thing it dreads, while faith calls forth the very thing it loves. Job, that ancient sufferer, confessed, "The thing which I greatly feared is come upon me." Fear is inverted faith. It is faith in evil instead of faith in God. Therefore guard your heart, for out of it flow the issues of life. Fear tolerated is faith contaminated. Cast it out. Say with David, "I will fear no evil, for thou art with me." Beloved, wealth cannot flow where fear is enthroned, for fear strangles the channel, while faith opens it. Fear builds dams, while faith releases rivers. Fear says, "I cannot afford it." Faith says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Fear clutches tightly, hoards, hides, and resists. Faith gives, releases, and multiplies. The Christ said, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." Why? Because giving is faith in action. Giving is proof that you know your supply is infinite. Giving is the visible evidence that you trust the invisible source. Look through history. Andrew Carnegie gave away more than $300 million in his lifetime. Why? Because he understood the law of circulation, that money is like blood, it must flow or it clots. He said, "The man who dies rich, dies disgraced." He released, and more was given. Walt Disney risked everything again and again, releasing his last dollar into visions that others could not see, because he believed in circulation. The law rewarded him with kingdoms that endure to this day. And what of vision, beloved? Vision is faith clothed in imagination. Vision is the picture held steady in the mind, impressed upon the invisible substance until it hardens into fact. Without vision, the people perish. Without vision, wealth evaporates. Without vision, life hers. But with vision, mountains move, empires rise, inventions appear, and miracles abound. Thomas Edison held a vision of light in a world bound to candles and gas lamps. The world mocked, but he saw beyond. Nikola Tesla dreamed of wireless currents, while others stumbled in darkness. Carnegie saw steel bridges where others saw only timber. These were men of vision, prophets in their own right, who proved that imagination is the workshop of God. Beloved, what vision are you holding? Is it a vision of lack, of sickness, of defeat? Or is it a vision of wealth, of health, of joy, of divine fulfillment? For the law is simple: what you continually see within, you will surely see without. If you wish to change your world, change the picture upon the screen of your mind. Let your imagination be sanctified by faith. See yourself as already wealthy, already free, already supplied. For faith without vision is blind, and vision without faith is powerless, but faith and vision together become an unstoppable force. Yet hear this truth. You must also learn the law of non-resistance. For many speak the word, they hold the vision, they believe in faith, and yet they struggle. Why? Because they resist the flow. They demand that supply come through one channel, one person, one method, one plan. But the universe is infinite, and God's ways are past finding out. When you resist, you choke the river. When you release, you allow it to flow. Say often, "I do not resist. I allow the divine plan to unfold in perfect ways. I let every blessing that belongs to me flow to me now." This is the law of non-resistance. It is surrender to divine wisdom. It is ceasing to outline how your good must come. It is trusting that God's plan is greater than your plan, His ways higher than your ways, His thoughts higher than your thoughts. Jesus himself embodied non-resistance when he declared, "Not my will, but thine, be done." In that surrender lay the victory of resurrection. For resistance crucifies, but surrender resurrects. Resistance binds, but release frees. Resistance strangles, but surrender multiplies. Do not resist the present moment, beloved. Do not curse the place where you are. For even now, divine supply is weaving its way through the very circumstances you despise. Say instead, "This too is part of the path. This too shall prosper me. This too is working for my good." And watch how quickly the tide turns. And then, the law of divine timing. For many grow weary because their harvest delays. They say, "I have spoken the word. I have believed. I have seen the vision. I have surrendered, yet nothing comes." Beloved, the law of divine timing is perfect. There is an appointed season for every harvest. The farmer does not plant today and reap tomorrow. He waits, he waters, he trusts the unseen work of the soil. Do not dig up your seed with words of doubt. Do not cancel your decree with impatience. Trust the process, trust the timing. Say, "In God's right time, in God's right way, in God's right place, my good shall manifest." For delay is not denial. Delay is preparation. Delay is ripening. Delay is alignment. Joseph waited in the prison before he sat in Pharaoh's palace. Moses waited 40 years in the desert before he led Israel. David tended sheep before he wore the crown. Even Jesus waited 30 years before beginning his ministry. Divine timing is never late, never early, always perfect. And if you trust it, you shall never be ashamed. So, beloved, unite these laws, speak the word, believe by faith, hold the vision, release through non-resistance, and trust in divine timing. This is the ladder by which wealth descends. This is the formula by which heaven opens. This is the key by which unlimited supply rushes to you. Remember, your word sets it in motion, your faith fuels it, your vision shapes it, your surrender allows it, and God's timing perfects it. Speak boldly, believe deeply, imagine richly, release freely, and trust completely, and you shall see the glory of the Lord in the land of the living. For the forgotten verse is eternal. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Say it again, say it always, say it with fire. For this is the law, this is the secret, this is the power. And no force in heaven or earth can keep from you that which your word, your faith, your vision, and your surrender have already decreed. Beloved, the word has been spoken, faith has been ignited, vision has been held, surrender has been offered, and timing has been trusted. Now comes the hour of manifestation. For manifestation is not a miracle to God, it is the natural unfolding of his divine law. Just as surely as the seed becomes the tree, just as surely as dawn follows night, so too must your spoken word appear in form. It cannot fail, for the law is perfect, the promise eternal, the covenant unbreakable. The Lord has declared, "So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it." If his word does not return void, how shall yours, when spoken in his authority? Manifestation is not future, beloved, it is now. For eternity knows no time. The moment you spoke in faith, it was done. The unseen has already received it, the invisible has already formed it, and in divine right timing it appears in your visible world. You do not wait for it, it waits for you. You do not chase it, it chases you. You do not labor for it, it labors for you. The Christ declared, "Say not ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest? Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes, and look on the fields, for they are white already to harvest." Beloved, your harvest is ready now. Lift your eyes. But manifestation requires alignment. You cannot plant grapes and harvest thorns. You cannot decree abundance and secretly entertain doubt. You cannot speak wealth in prayer and speak lack in conversation. You cannot bless with one breath and curse with the next. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Align your words, align your thoughts, align your actions. Let every part of you sing the same song of faith. And when you see even the smallest evidence of manifestation, bless it, magnify it, give thanks for it. For gratitude multiplies. Jesus blessed the loaves and fishes, and they increased until thousands were fed. Gratitude is the alchemy that multiplies the seed into harvest, the coin into treasure, the trickle into a flood. Say often, "I give thanks for my immediate and unlimited supply, which comes to me now in perfect ways," and watch as the universe hastens to obey. Beloved, miracles are not rare, they are the normal operation of divine law when man ceases to resist. The sun rising is a miracle, the heart beating is a miracle, the breath within you is a miracle. What you call supernatural is simply the higher law at work. the divine pattern unfolding beyond your sight. When Peter walked on water, it was not magic. It was faith aligning with divine law, the law of dominion over matter. When Jesus multiplied bread, it was not trickery. It was the demonstration of abundance, the law of increase manifesting visibly. These laws are eternal, unchanging, and available to you even now. You are called not to crawl in dust, but to walk in dominion. You are called not to beg at gates, but to feast at tables. You are called not to shrink in fear, but to stand in faith. The forgotten verse is the crown upon your head. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Say it until the atmosphere around you trembles, until angels rush to perform it, until demons flee from Todd. He sound. Say it until wealth bows before you, until health clothes you, until love surrounds you. And when manifestation comes, when miracles abound, when wealth flows like rivers, do not hoard it, beloved. Do not clutch it with fear. Circulate it, release it, bless others with it. For you are not a reservoir, but a river. Wealth flows through you, not merely to you. You are a steward of divine supply, a channel of infinite substance. As you give, you prove yourself faithful. As you release, you prove yourself trustworthy. As you bless others, you increase your own flow. Freely ye have received, freely give, and in the giving, more shall be added unto you. Do not measure wealth by gold alone. True wealth is health in the body, peace in the mind, joy in the soul, harmony in the home, love in the heart. Money is but one expression of substance, a servant of spirit, a tool for good. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. When you walk in alignment with divine law, wealth in every form follows. Beloved, hear this truth. The world you live in is the outpicturing of the word you have spoken. If you wish to change your world, change your word. If you wish to change your harvest, change your seed. The forgotten verse is the eternal reminder that lack is an illusion, poverty a dream, struggle a shadow. For the truth is, the Lord is your shepherd, you shall not want. And now I charge you, awaken, awaken to your inheritance, awaken to your authority, awaken to the power of your word. Speak no longer of lack, of fear, of limitation. Speak only of abundance, of faith, of divine supply. Stand tall as a child of the infinite, a son, a daughter of the King. Command your world into harmony, into wealth, into health, into joy, and it shall obey, for heaven and earth bow to the spoken word of faith. Beloved soul, if these words have stirred you, if this truth has awakened you, if the forgotten verse has been remembered upon your lips, then join in this movement of light. Speak your decree, share your faith, and let the world be filled with this revelation. Subscribe to this channel of truth, not for entertainment, but for empowerment. Like this message, not for vanity, but as a decree that you align with it. For every action you take in faith multiplies the law in your life. Let this be your covenant act, your declaration that you are no longer bound by fear, no longer chained by lack, no longer blind to truth. You are free, you are supplied, you are wealthy, you are whole. And the forgotten verse shall echo through your days and through your nights. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.